The gun debate has sparked a lot of attention on violence in the media. Though some see it as a scapegoat, it has given me the opportunity to explore if, in fact, the media has a negative effect on children.
I think it influences children in every way, shape, and form. Media is what they suck in and where they get their opinions, aside from their parents and friends and interacting with their little buddies.
It's everything that they show on TV. Children are watching this, and sometimes they get ideals from it. You know, I mean, it's true. I mean, you look at these action-packed movies, and right away the little kids want to be the superhero or the bad guy, and it affects them.
I mean, children essentially are sponges at some level, so what they see is what they become in some sense.
Negative effects of violence in the media can cause a child to mimic violent behavior.
The negative effects, I think, would be mostly behavioral, violent, mimicking. My son, without me knowing, downloaded, I didn't have the correct age settings on the iPad, so he downloaded Gangstar, and what was the other one? Grand Theft Auto, I think it is. And he was playing it, and I didn't really know what it was, and I looked over their shoulder, and it was a guy running and trying to escape, and he was shooting people, but I didn't see any nudity or profanity, but apparently there is that in that game, and it's violent, and I didn't even realize it. And then he'll play that game, and then he'll put it down, and then he'll run around pretending to shoot people, and he never had a toy gun until recently. He's 7, and he just thinks it's fine as long as he's shooting a bad guy.
However, these negative effects can become a positive if a parent takes the opportunity to teach their child a lesson.
Again, I think out of context it's probably bad, but in some sense, I mean, the reality of the world is generally a violent place, so there needs to be some understanding of violence and sort of its role in being humans, but it should be in the proper context.
If they're going to grow up and live in the real world, you can't protect them from everything that's going on, all the negative things, and they have to learn to cope with that emotionally too. And so maybe if you expose them in a way where you're watching with the child and talking to him about it and letting him express his thoughts and feelings and being supportive and, recognizing that this is not real, and helping children who are predisposed to see the difference between reality and fiction, then I don't think it would have any long-term serious negative effects.
I ask, what can be done to limit these effects on children?
I have to say it's up to the parents. The parents need to control what the child sees.
Since finding out my son had downloaded some of these games on the iPad, I changed the age settings, restricted to he can only download something that is appropriate for a 9-year-old and below.
I just think, if schools could incorporate social emotional learning into the curriculum, it would help kids who are watching violent television see it in a different light. Kids who show behavior problems are tied up emotionally with their, anxieties and their fears, and I'm going to be beaten up after school, and I'm going to be bullied, some of this video might create in kids who are already aggressive. It just might enhance it. And if schools could, recognize the importance of children's social emotional development, they would do better academically.
Even with all these good ideas, children will be children, and research shows no real correlation between a child's behavior and what they view in the media.
You really can't keep your children from, being exposed to it if they want to be. And I interviewed some boys around the age of 10 a couple years ago about this very subject, and I said, do you really think that watching violence on television will make you more prone to be violent later on? And they kind of looked at me. They were kids who were socially, emotionally confident. It's just fun. It's fiction. Once it's over, it's done with. And they are not going to be affected. And the research shows that kids like that really won't be. And one boy even said a bully at school likes to play violent video games because it gives him a sense of control over those characters that he doesn't have in real life. And it actually was helping him, you know, work through some of his emotions. And so sometimes, you know, depending on how the adult reacts to the child's reactions, it can have a significant effect on how the child is going to, whether he'll be vulnerable or not.
Though research shows that the media does not have a huge impact on children, as a parent, it's okay to monitor what your child views, but also take the time to build connection and teach your child what is going on in society.
One kid said, it's cool to play. In other words, the kids do it, his friends do it, he would be left out if he didn't do it. There's that either peer pressure or peer acceptance. There's nothing more important to a child, especially in middle childhood, around 10, 12 years of age, to be accepted by their peers. And, you know, if they're doing it, he's got to do it. And it really doesn't have any violent meaning for him. It just happens to be the cool thing to do. And if parents make such a big deal about it, you know, you can't do it, that causes a problem between the parent and the child. He's going to do it anyway. He's going to go to his friend's house and do it anyway. So why, you know, make such a big deal of it? As one 10-year-old said to me, it's no big deal. When it's done, it's done. When the game is over, it's over, you know? And if the parents treat it with equal lack of great concern, the kids will too.